This video is about the mom got lost at the campground, and a rich stranger started a conversation. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over Cedar Creek Campground. It was a sprawling oasis nestled among towering pines, with the symphony of rustling leaves and distant laughter filling the air. Families were dotted across the area, each with their own stories, their own laughter, their own momentary escape from life's demands. Clara Thompson had always embraced the chaos of motherhood, but today felt particularly overwhelming. She was on her annual camping trip with her two children, Jake and Lily. The excitement of s'mores and ghost stories faded as she struggled to keep track of them. Jake, adventurous and headstrong at 10, was already sprinting ahead, while Lily, only 6, clung to her mother's hand with fierce determination. "Can we go to the lake, Mom? Please," Jake shouted, his voice echoing in the crisp evening air. Clara felt the tension in her chest tighten. She wanted to say yes, but feared the chaos that might ensue if she let them roam freely. "Just a little longer, Jake. We need to set up camp first," she replied, her voice firm but tinged with a hint of exhaustion. As they wandered deeper into the campground, Clara's mind buzzed with to-do lists. She was supposed to gather firewood, pitch the tent, and prepare dinner, all while managing the energy of her children. A slight breeze rustled through the trees, and she caught a glimpse of the serene lake in the distance. It seemed so inviting, yet so far away. "Mom, look at that!" Lily exclaimed, pointing at a group of kids chasing a colorful kite. The innocent joy in Lily's voice tugged at Clara's heart, but before she could respond, Jake dashed off in pursuit of the kite, leaving Clara momentarily stunned. "Jake, wait!" she called, but her voice was lost in the wind. Without thinking, she started after him, pulling Lily along. The path twisted and turned, and Clara quickly lost her sense of direction. Panic fluttered in her chest when she realized they had veered off the beaten path. The laughter of children had faded into the distance, and the serene woods suddenly felt daunting. "Mommy, where are we?" Lily's voice trembled, her small hand gripping Clara's tighter. "I'm just trying to find your brother, sweetheart. Stay close to me," Clara said, her tone soothing, even though her heart raced. She glanced around, the trees towering over her like silent sentinels, and she felt an overwhelming sense of isolation. Just then, a figure emerged from behind a cluster of trees, tall and dressed in a crisp white linen shirt that seemed out of place in the rugged wilderness. His dark hair tousled in the wind, and his piercing blue eyes locked onto Clara with an intensity that made her momentarily forget her worries. "Looks like you're a bit lost," he said, a hint of amusement in his voice. Clara couldn't help but notice the playful smirk that danced on his lips. "Yes, well, I seem to have misplaced my son," she admitted, feeling vulnerable and a tad flustered. "He ran off, and now I can't find him." "I can help," he offered, stepping closer. "I'm Calder, by the way." "Clara," she replied, her voice wavering as she weighed his striking demeanor against her instinct to remain cautious. "And this is Lily." "Nice to meet you both," Calder said, crouching down to Lily's level. "How about we find your brother, Lily? You can lead the way." Lily nodded enthusiastically, her childish innocence shining through the tension. Clara watched as they bonded instantly, captivated by Calder's easy charm and playful aura. It jolted a memory within her, a time when she used to feel free, unburdened by the responsibilities of motherhood. "How did you end up here?" Clara asked, falling into step beside Calder as they navigated the dense underbrush. "I come here every summer. It's my family's tradition, a kind of refuge from the city. The nature of the peace, it helps me clear my mind," he replied, his voice smooth, almost hypnotic. "What about you?" "It's the same for me, just a way to escape the chaos of work and, well, life," she said, surprised at the honesty that slipped out. "I didn't realize how much I needed this." As they walked, Clara felt an unexpected connection blossom between them. The energy shifted, their glances lingered longer than necessary, and when their shoulders brushed, a spark ignited within her. Just then, a loud shout echoed through the trees. "Mom! Over here!" Jake's voice rang out, and Clara's heart leaped with relief. "There he is!" she exclaimed, her voice a mixture of joy and exasperation. She turned to Calder, her gratitude palpable. "Thank you for your help." "Of course," he replied, but his gaze held on to her for a moment longer, as if he were weighing the implications of their brief encounter. "Let me walk you there." As they reached Jake, who had been blissfully unaware of his mother's growing concern, Clara felt the warmth of Calder's presence beside her. Jake launched into a story about his adventures with the kite, oblivious to the chemistry crackling between his mother and the handsome stranger. Calder listened intently, nodding with genuine interest, and Clara couldn't help but admire how he engaged with Jake. It struck her how rare it was to see a man so effortlessly connect with her children, a stark contrast to her ex-husband's distant demeanor. "Maybe you could all join me for dinner tonight," Calder suggested casually, his blue eyes glinting with mischief. "I promise it'll be better than whatever instant noodles you're planning." Clara hesitated, doubt creeping in. Would it be wise to accept an invitation from a stranger? Yet, the idea of sharing a meal under the stars, surrounded by laughter, felt enticing. I don't," she began, but Calder interrupted gently. "Just a friendly offer," he said, and his smile was disarming. "We're all here to relax, right? No pressures, just good food and company." She could feel Jake's eyes on her, eager for an adventure, and there was something undeniably alluring about the way Calder spoke, a magnetic energy that made her heart race. "All right then," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "We'd love to." "Great! I'll see you at my campsite around 6, he confirmed, and Clara found herself nodding before the words fully registered in her mind. As he walked away, Clara felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. There was a rush of adrenaline coursing through her. Was it wrong to feel this way? A flicker of attraction toward a stranger while navigating the complexities of her life as a single mom. "Mom, can we go to the lake now?" Jake asked, oblivious to the turmoil stirring within her. "Sure, let's go," Clara replied, but her mind was still on Calder, the rich stranger with the easy smile, who had unexpectedly breathed life into her weary heart. As they approached the lake, Clara stole one last glance over her shoulder. Calder was watching them, a knowing smile on his face, and for the first time in a long while, Clara felt a thrill of possibility blossom within her. The sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the horizon in hues of orange and pink as Clara and her children made their way to the lake. Jake dashed ahead, his excitement spilling over as he raced toward the water, while Lily lingered by her side, the weight of the day's adventures still evident in her large, innocent eyes. "Mom, can we swim?" Jake shouted, glancing back with a grin that lit up his face. Clara felt a rush of warmth in her chest. It was moments like these that made the chaos of motherhood worthwhile. "Not yet. Let's just take a look first," Clara called back, her heart fluttering with a mix of joy and anxiety. She knelt beside Lily, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's face. "You okay, sweetie?" Lily nodded, her gaze fixed on the shimmering lake, though Clara could sense her lingering worries. "I miss Daddy," Lily whispered, her voice barely audible over the gentle lapping of the waves. Clara's heart twisted at her daughter's words. "I know, honey, but we're going to make some great memories together. Just you, me, and Jake," she replied, hoping to infuse her voice with optimism. Yet, the hollow ache of her divorce still lingered, and she found herself silently grappling with the guilt of moving forward. As they settled down on the sandy shore, Clara took a moment to breathe in the fresh scent of pine and lake water, allowing the tranquility of the scene to envelop her. It felt like a fleeting escape from her responsibilities, a reprieve from the weight of her past. "Look, I found a perfect rock!" Jake exclaimed, interrupting her thoughts as he held up a smooth stone, the sunlight catching its edges. "Can I skip it?" "Sure. Just be careful not to go too far in," Clara cautioned, watching as he scampered along the edge, his laughter filling the air and lifting her spirits. "Mommy, can I skip rocks too?" Lily pleaded, her eyes wide with anticipation. "Of course. But let's find some smaller ones for you," Clara said, standing and glancing toward the water, where Jake was already tossing his rock with reckless abandon. Her heart swelled with pride, but a flicker of anxiety crept in. She was responsible for both of them, after all. Just then, Clara caught sight of a familiar figure descending the path, the rugged silhouette of Calder. He was heading toward the lake with a basket in one hand, a casual confidence radiating from him as he approached. Clara's heartbeat quickened at the sight, an unexpected thrill coursing through her. "Whoa, look at that guy," Jake shouted, pointing as Calder drew closer. "Jake, please," Clara said softly, though she felt a smirk tugging at her lips. She hadn't expected to see him so soon. "Hey, there," Calder called out, his voice smooth and inviting. "Thought I'd come down to see how the lake looked today. Perfect spot for some fishing, don't you think?" "Definitely," Clara replied, her heart fluttering as she met his gaze. "The kids are excited to explore. Mind if I join you? I promise I won't scare the fish away," he said, a playful grin dancing on his lips. "Sure. The more, the merrier," Clara found herself saying, momentarily forgetting her inner reservations. There was an undeniable chemistry, a magnetic pull that made her heart race, a feeling she hadn't allowed herself to indulge in for so long. Calder settled down near them, laying out the contents of his basket, a collection of snacks and fishing gear. "So, what's the plan? Skip rocks or catch fish?" he asked, leaning back on his elbows and flashing them a boyish smile. "Both," Jake declared, his enthusiasm infectious. "I'm going to be the best rock skipper ever." "Hey, show me your technique," Calder encouraged, leaning forward with genuine interest. Clara watched as they bonded over the simple joy of skipping stones. The way Calder engaged with her children made her heart swell. He had an effortless charm that was both comforting and exciting. Lily joined in, her small hands trembling slightly as she picked up a rock. "Look, I got one," she squealed. Calder cheered for her, his encouragement unwavering, and Clara felt warmth bloom in her chest. "Nice one, Lily. You're a natural," he complimented, and Clara noticed the light in her daughter's eyes sparkled with pride. As the afternoon wore on, laughter filled the air, intermingled with the soft sounds of nature. Clara sat back, feeling a rare sense of ease as she observed Calder and her children laughing and playing. For the first time in a long while, she let herself relax, allowing the worries of life to drift away. "Want to try a fishing competition?" Calder suggested suddenly, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "Loser has to cook dinner for the winner." "Deal," Jake shouted, always eager for a challenge. "Wait a minute. What about me?" Clara interjected, half joking yet half serious. Calder chuckled, shaking his head. "You can be the judge, the impartial observer. I think you're just trying to get out of cooking," Clara teased back, feeling the warmth of camaraderie envelop her like a soft blanket. "Nah, I'd love to cook for you," Calder shot back, his gaze lingering on her a moment too long, making her pulse quicken with a blend of astonishment and thrill. The banter flowed easily, the air between them charged with an electric tension that both excited and terrified Clara. She could feel the weight of her responsibilities pressing against her, the quiet doubts that whispered in her ear. What was she doing? Was it wise to indulge in this connection? She was a mother, a divorcee navigating the complexities of life. But Calder's presence was magnetic, his easy laughter and charming demeanor a refreshing distraction from her worries. As they fished, Clara caught herself stealing glances at Calder, entranced by the way he interacted with her kids, the genuine laughter, the playful teasing. She felt her heart stir, a longing she hadn't acknowledged in years. "Hey, Clara," Calder said suddenly, turning to her with an earnest expression. "Can I ask you something?" Sure, she replied, her heart skipping a beat. Do you think about stepping back into the dating world? He asked, his question hanging in the air, heavy with implications. Clara hesitated, her mind racing. I haven't really thought about it, she admitted, though the truth gnawed at her. It's been hard to focus on anything but the kids. I get that, Calder said, his voice softening. But you deserve happiness too. Just because you're a mom doesn't mean you have to put your life on hold. I know, she murmured, feeling the weight of his words settle within her. It's just complicated. Life's complicated, Clara, he replied, his eyes earnest. But sometimes you just have to take a leap. You might be surprised by where it takes you. His words struck a chord deep within her. Clara looked into his eyes, seeing a glimmer of understanding, a reflection of her own fears and desires. She felt an undeniable connection swirling between them, a longing for something more. Something real. But just as quickly as it had bloomed, the moment was interrupted by Jake's triumphant yell. I caught one. I caught a fish. Let's see it. Calder encouraged, his attention shifting away from their intimate conversation, the playful energy between them fading slightly. As Clara turned to watch her son, she felt a rush of conflicting emotions. The thrill of the moment mixed with uncertainty and longing. Calder felt like a breath of fresh air, and she couldn't shake the feeling that their connection was something worth exploring. Just as the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the lake, Clara made a decision. Perhaps she could allow herself the chance to embrace new beginnings, to consider the possibilities that lay beyond the campfire and the safety of her familiar routine. She glanced at Calder, who was now helping Jake with his fish, and felt a flutter of hope blossom within her, a flicker of something that could potentially change everything. The evening crept in softly, the sun casting a warm glow over Cedar Creek as the first stars began to sprinkle the darkening sky. Clara felt a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. She had agreed to join Calder for dinner, a decision that had ignited a sense of excitement within her that she hadn't felt in years. Mom, can I hold the fish? Jake asked, his voice bursting with enthusiasm. A wide grin across his face as he proudly presented the wriggling creature he had caught. Clara chuckled, the joy in her son's eyes infectious. Only if you're careful not to let it go, buddy. The fish glistened in the fading light, yet her heart wasn't entirely in the moment. As she watched Jake, a thought pricked at her mind. What would happen tonight? Would it be just dinner, or would it lead to something more? Calder, do you have a secret fishing technique? Lily asked, her curiosity shining through the shadows. Calder laughed, a rich sound that seemed to hold the essence of the campground. It's all about patience, Lily. You have to wait for the fish to come to you. Just like life, sometimes you have to let things unfold naturally. Clara found herself drawn in by his words. There was something genuinely calming about him, a maturity that felt refreshing in contrast to her chaotic life. Yet, as she watched him interact with her kids, a wave of doubt washed over her. Was she really ready to let him in? Was this a fleeting moment of connection or something deeper? As the sun dipped below the horizon, Clara ushered her children back toward their campsite to gather their dinner items. Let's get everything ready for dinner. We can't keep our guests waiting. Can we eat s'mores afterward? Jake asked, his eyes gleaming with the promise of sugary treats. Absolutely, Clara replied, her spirits lifting at the prospect of a campfire and sweet indulgence. Calder stood up, brushing dirt from his knees, his gaze drifting toward Clara. Want me to carry something for you? His voice was casual, yet Clara could sense an underlying intention beneath the surface, a hint of flirtation that made her pulse quicken. Maybe just a couple of plates, she suggested, trying to keep her tone light even as butterflies danced in her stomach. Consider it done, Calder replied, effortlessly balancing the plates and a couple of drinks in his arms. Lead the way, fearless leader. As they walked back together, Clara felt the distance between them closing. The warm evening air wrapped around them, and she couldn't ignore the way he seemed to radiate confidence, his presence both comforting and electrifying. "Do you always take charge?" she asked, a teasing lilt in her voice to mask her burgeoning nerves. "Only when necessary," he replied with a wink. "But to be honest, I enjoy a little adventure. Keeps life interesting." "Adventure? At a campground?" Clara laughed, shaking her head. "You might be overselling it a bit?" Calder stepped closer, a playful glint in his eyes. "Oh, you'd be surprised at how much adventure can be found in the simplest places. Sometimes it's all about perspective." Clara felt an unexpected thrill at his words, a sense that perhaps he was hinting at something more, something between them. But just as she began to entertain the thought, Jake's voice pierced through her reverie. "Mom, can I roast the marshmallows?" Jake shouted, his excitement making Clara smile despite her swirling thoughts. "Sure, just be careful with the fire, okay?" Clara reminded him, her heart swelling with pride and affection for her son. They arrived at their campsite, the familiar comforts of home in the wild surrounding them. Jake set to work, gathering sticks for roasting while Lily busied herself arranging their meal on a picnic blanket. As Clara organized the food, she felt Calder's eyes on her, the weight of his gaze sending a shiver down her spine. "You have a beautiful family," he said quietly, stepping closer to help her with the food. "Thank you," she replied, the warmth in her cheeks betraying her. "They mean everything to me. It's been a challenge, but I wouldn't trade it for anything." "I can see that," he said, his voice softening. "You're doing an amazing job." Clara was taken aback by his sincerity, a genuine compliment that struck her deeply. "It's hard sometimes, juggling everything alone, but moments like this make it worthwhile," she admitted, her heart opening up just a bit more. "Mom, I'm ready," Jake yelled, his enthusiasm palpable as he danced around the fire pit, stick in hand. "Let's get cooking, then," Clara exclaimed, trying to shake off the weight of the moment. Under the starlit sky, they gathered around the flickering campfire, the warmth of the flames echoing the warmth growing between Clara and Calder. Jake and Lily took turns roasting marshmallows and laughing as they tried to achieve the perfect golden brown. Calder leaned back on his elbows, his gaze shifting from the fire to Clara. "So what's your secret to keeping them so happy?" "Just love, I guess," Clara replied, her heart swelling with pride as she watched her children. "And a little chaos keeps it interesting." Calder chuckled, his eyes reflecting the firelight. "You have a beautiful way of looking at things, Clara. It's refreshing." She felt a tinge of uncertainty mix with the warmth of his words. "I just try to find joy in the small moments. Life can get overwhelming, but if you let it, the little things can make it all worthwhile." "Wise words," he mused, his expression growing earnest. "You deserve to find joy for yourself too, you know." "Maybe," Clara replied, though doubt clouded her thoughts. Could she truly open herself up to something new? As they settled into a comfortable rhythm of laughter and shared stories, Clara felt her worries begin to fade. The night air was thick with the scent of pine and smoke, the sounds of crickets providing a soothing backdrop to the evening. Lily's laughter rang out, pulling Clara from her swirling thoughts. "Look, Mom, I made us some more." She proudly displayed the sticky treat, her innocence and joy infectious. "Perfect. Now hurry up and eat it before it falls apart," Clara encouraged, feeling her heart lift once more. "Clara, you're a great mom," Calder said, his voice low. "I admire how you handle everything." "I'm just doing my best," Clara replied, warmth flooding through her. She met his gaze, feeling a connection that was both exhilarating and terrifying. "But I've had my share of struggles. Everyone has their battles. It's how we handle them that defines us," Calder said, his eyes locked onto her. The moment felt charged, the air thick with unspoken possibilities. Clara could sense the tension rising, a magnetic pull drawing them closer. Just as she opened her mouth to speak, Jake interrupted, his voice filled with urgency. "Can we make more some more?" "Yes," As many as you want. Clara laughed, grateful for the reprieve. Let's have some more competition. Jake proposed, excitement bubbling over. Competition? Calder grinned. I'm in, but no cheating. Okay, I'll make the best s'more ever, Jake declared, determination firm on his face. Lily chimed in, me too. I'm going to make mine extra gooey. As they began constructing their s'mores, Clara couldn't help but smile. The laughter and the energy of her children filled her heart with warmth, but Calder's steady presence lingered in her thoughts. Eventually, as the night wore on, the laughter began to subside, the stars twinkling overhead, casting a gentle glow about them. You know, Clara, Calder began, his tone shifting to something more serious. You have a choice to make. What do you mean? Clara asked, her heart racing. About letting people in, about taking that leap into something new. His gaze was intense, searching her face as if trying to decipher her thoughts. Clara felt the weight of his words settle over her. It's not that simple. I've built walls over the years. Walls can be torn down, he urged, his voice soft yet confident. You deserve happiness. You deserve to explore life beyond being just a mom. The sincerity in his words struck a chord, igniting a flame of longing within her. But the fear of getting hurt again loomed large. What if I'm not ready? What if I fail? Calder leaned closer, his voice a mere whisper. What if you soar? In that moment, Clara felt something shift within her. The tension between them pulsed, a blend of fear and excitement churning in her stomach. She could feel the possibility in the air, a chance to step into something new, something exhilarating. But before she could respond, a sudden noise interrupted. Jake had succeeded in making a s'more that looked more like a gooey mess than a treat. Look, Mom, I did it, he shouted proudly, the distraction a welcome reprieve from the weight of the moment. The laughter from Jake echoed against the trees, pulling Clara back into the warm bubble of the moment. She glanced at her son, his face smeared with chocolate, a proud grin plastered across his cheeks. That looks like quite the masterpiece, she teased, a smile breaking through her earlier tension. Thanks, Mom. It's the best s'more ever, Jake exclaimed, holding it out like a trophy. The gooey marshmallow drooped precariously, and Clara couldn't help but laugh. Just make sure you don't drop it, she said, her heart swelling with affection. Lily, trying to replicate the gooey delight, concentrated fiercely, her small tongue poking out as she applied sticky fingers to her own graham cracker. Can I have mine now, too? She asked, her voice a sweet whisper. Of course, I'll help you, Clara replied, kneeling down to assist her daughter. As she reached for the marshmallows, she felt Calder's gaze lingering on her, a warmth spreading through her as she glanced up to meet his eyes. Need some help, Clara? Calder asked, his voice low and smooth, a subtle invitation hanging in the air. I think we've got this, Clara replied, a playful challenge dancing in her tone. But the way he looked at her, with a mixture of admiration and interest, sent a flutter of nerves through her. All right, but I'm still available for taste testing, he teased, leaning back against the log and watching the children with an easy smile. The way he engaged with Jake and Lily, offering encouragement as they crafted their s'mores, made Clara's heart swell. You're good with kids, she said, turning her attention back to the girls. Have you ever thought about having your own? Calder hesitated for a moment, a flicker of something crossing his face. Was it longing? I haven't really thought about it. My life has been complicated. The shared admission hung between them, a momentary vulnerability that felt electric. Clara bit her lip, unsure how to push past the growing intimacy. I understand. It's hard to think about those things when you're focused on surviving day by day. True, he said softly, his gaze steady. But it's also important to think about what you want. You deserve happiness, Clara. Just then, Jake triumphantly held up his s'more, a proudly messy creation. Look, this is a total win, he exclaimed, grinning from ear to ear. Impressive. Calder said, clapping his hands together with mock enthusiasm. That's definitely a contender for the s'more championship. Lily giggled, her eyes sparkling as she examined her own s'more with a mix of pride and uncertainty. Is mine good too? Yours is perfect, sweetheart. A true masterpiece in the making. Clara encouraged, reveling in the lightness of the moment. Yet, beneath the laughter, her mind was tangled in thoughts of Calder, the weight of their earlier conversation lingering. As the kids devoured their treats, Calder leaned closer, an inviting smirk playing on his lips. So, what's the secret to a perfect s'more? Is it the ratio of chocolate to marshmallow, or is there more to it? Clara laughed lightly, feeling the tension ebb away as they fell into easy conversation. It's all about the right amount of gooiness. Too much chocolate and it's just a mess. I see, he said, his eyes sparkling with mischief. I'd like to think I'm a connoisseur of gooiness. How about a friendly wager? If I can make the best s'more, I get to take you out tomorrow. Her heart raced at the proposition. It had been so long since anyone had made her feel this way, alive and fluttering with possibility. And if I win? Clara countered, the challenge igniting a playful spark between them. If you win, I'll take care of dinner for the entire trip, he replied, his boldness making her pulse quicken. I think you're underestimating my s'more skills, Clara shot back, trying to mask the thrill coursing through her veins. I'm counting on it, he replied, his eyes glinting with playful challenge. Let's see what you've got. They both turned their attention back to the kids, who were now in a full-on s'more frenzy. Chocolate smeared around their mouths, bright laughter filling the night air. Clara felt warmth unfurling in her chest as she watched Calder interact with them, his infectious spirit lifting everyone around him. Calder, can you help me with mine? Jake asked, his adorable innocence shining through the chocolate mess on his face. Absolutely, Calder replied, instantly kneeling beside him. He demonstrated the perfect technique for roasting a marshmallow, carefully explaining each step while Jake absorbed every word. Clara watched, her heart swelling with admiration. He was so engaged, so genuine, and the way he connected with Jake made her feel something deep within. Okay, I think I've got it now, Jake declared proudly as he slid his marshmallow onto the chocolate-laden graham cracker, grinning from ear to ear. As the evening wore on, the laughter and stories flowed freely, but Clara couldn't shake the simmering tension between her and Calder. Every stolen glance sent her heart racing, and the easy banter felt charged with something deeper. Eventually, as the stars twinkled overhead, Clara sensed the need to address the unspoken. Calder, she began hesitantly, her heart pounding in her chest. Can we talk about what you said earlier? Of course. I didn't mean to overstep. His expression turned serious, the playful glint replaced by something more earnest. It's just that I see how hard you work to create a good life for your kids. You're amazing, Clara. She felt a rush of warmth at his words, but the weight of her past threatened to engulf her. Thank you. But opening up hasn't always been easy for me. I've built walls to protect myself. I get that. But letting someone in doesn't mean you have to tear down those walls completely, Calder said, his voice steady. It's about finding a balance. Balance, she echoed, contemplating his words. Sometimes it feels impossible, especially after everything I've been through. Calder reached out, brushing his fingers against hers, a simple gesture that sent a ripple of warmth coursing through her. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to want more for yourself. You don't have to carry everything alone. Clara's breath caught in her throat. His words resonated deeply, an unspoken understanding blooming between them. But she hesitated, the fear of vulnerability constricting around her heart. What if I let you in, and it all falls apart? What if it doesn't? Calder countered, his gaze unwavering. What if it's the best decision you ever make? Life is too short to let fear dictate your happiness, Clara. The intensity in his eyes held her captive, and for a brief moment, the world around them faded away. Clara felt herself leaning closer, the air heavy with unspoken possibilities. Maybe I'm just scared, she admitted, her voice barely a whisper, the vulnerability exposing her raw emotions. Scared of failing again, scared of getting hurt. "I won't hurt you," he said, his voice low and sincere. "I'm here, Clara, and I want to get to know you." Just then, Jake burst into their private bubble, his excitement breaking through the moment. "Mom, look at my s'more. It's epic." Clara's heart fluttered, the intrusion pulling her back to the present. "That's amazing, Jake. You really outdid yourself." Calder's expression softened as he turned to the kids, the tension dissipating into genuine laughter. Clara couldn't help but smile at how effortlessly he shifted back into the role of fun, supportive figure. As the night progressed, Clara felt a renewed sense of hope blossom within her. With each exchanged glance, each shared laugh, she felt the boundaries she had built begin to shift. Maybe she could allow herself to explore this connection with Calder. Maybe it didn't have to be complicated. Maybe, just maybe, she could start to feel alive again. The night air enveloped them, the warm glow of the campfire illuminating their faces. Clara drew a deep breath, feeling the magnetic pull of possibility envelop her. She was ready to embrace the adventure once more at a time.